Some relationships leave invisible scars. When the person across from you constantly makes you feel inadequate, guilty, or responsible for their unhappiness, the pain can be crushing. Narcissistic women have a subtle but powerful way of turning situations against those around them. This video explores 5 behaviors that reveal how narcissistic women shift blame, manipulate emotions, and undermine self-worth. Recognizing these behaviors is not just about understanding them, but about reclaiming your sense of self and learning the path toward freedom. Emotional manipulation leaves a lingering effect, creating confusion, self-doubt, and isolation. Many people endure this quietly, not realizing that their feelings are valid and that the problem is not within themselves. Recognizing these patterns is not just about understanding them. It is about reclaiming your sense of self, building inner strength, and learning the path toward liberation. This channel, Emotional Soulmate, is dedicated to exploring the behaviors of narcissistic individuals, especially those who manipulate and emotionally abuse. Here, the focus is on revealing subtle tactics, exposing emotional traps, and providing guidance to help you protect your heart and regain control over your life. Stay with this video until the very end. The insights shared here will not only illuminate the hidden ways narcissistic women make others feel like the problem, but also offer concrete strategies to break free and reclaim emotional freedom. Watching fully equips you with the tools to see through manipulation, stand firm in your worth, and move forward with clarity and confidence. 1. Constant blame, carrying the burden of their emotions. One of the most painful aspects of dealing with a narcissistic woman is the relentless transfer of responsibility. Every problem, every conflict, and every disappointment becomes your fault. The weight of blame slowly erodes confidence, making you question every choice and action. This behavior thrives on your empathy and natural tendency to resolve conflict. The more effort you put into trying to fix things, the more the manipulation intensifies. Awareness is the first step. Recognizing that constant blame is a tactic, not a reflection of reality, allows you to stop absorbing undue responsibility. Liberation begins by setting clear boundaries. Emotional accountability should be mutual, not one-sided. Protecting your mental space means separating your actions from the impossible expectations placed upon you. Learning to pause, reflect, and recognize manipulation as a strategy rather than truth is empowering. 2. Minimizing your emotions. The silent dismissal. When feelings are consistently dismissed, invalidated, or belittled, a person begins to doubt their own perception of reality. Narcissistic women often minimize the emotional experiences of others, portraying them as overreactions or unnecessary burdens. This diminishes self-trust. Over time, the natural response to sadness, disappointment, or frustration is replaced with self-blame and hesitation. Emotional invalidation acts like a slow erosion, weakening resilience and undermining confidence. Overcoming this requires affirming the legitimacy of your emotions. Feelings are signals, not weaknesses. By validating your own experiences, you reclaim authority over your inner world. Reflection, journaling, and supportive networks can reinforce the truth of your experience, counteracting the insidious effects of constant minimization. 3. Manipulation through guilt and shame. A hallmark of narcissistic behavior is the strategic use of guilt and shame to control and dominate. By highlighting sacrifices, hardships, or imagined slights, They create an environment where you feel perpetually responsible for their emotional state. Living under this influence cultivates hypervigilance, a constant need to anticipate their moods, and the pervasive fear of disappointment. This pattern is exhausting, eroding confidence and fostering self-doubt. The key to breaking free lies in separating your sense of duty from their manipulative strategies. Guilt imposed through manipulation is a weapon, not a reflection of personal failure. Learning to recognize this distinction allows you to reclaim autonomy and act in alignment with personal values rather than reactive fear. 4. Silent treatment and emotional withdrawal. Another tactic frequently employed is the withdrawal of attention and communication. Silent treatment is an emotional tool used to provoke anxiety, self-questioning, and compliance. This withdrawal sends a powerful message. Your worth is contingent on constant accommodation and compliance. The impact is profound, generating insecurity and a heightened need for validation. Breaking free from this requires internal grounding. Emotional stability cannot be dictated by someone else's approval or engagement. Reinforcing routines, supportive relationships, and self-directed activities fortifies emotional independence. The silent treatment loses power when your equilibrium no longer hinges on their response. 5. Turning every issue into your fault. Narcissistic women often reinterpret every circumstance to highlight your shortcomings. Successes are minimized, mistakes are magnified, and neutral events are framed as evidence of personal failure. This relentless reframing fosters chronic self-doubt and a sense of inadequacy. Over time, it chips away at confidence, leaving only anxiety, guilt, and a constant search for approval. Awareness and reframing are essential. Seeing situations objectively, acknowledging your contribution without internalizing unjust blame, and distinguishing facts from manipulation allow you to break the cycle. Building assertive communication skills and cultivating self-validation diminishes the influence of persistent distortion. Reclaiming power. Steps toward freedom. Recognition of these behaviors is only the beginning. Understanding that a narcissistic woman's manipulative patterns are not your fault is a critical first step, but true liberation requires deliberate action, intentional self-care, and rebuilding your inner foundation. Each step toward freedom strengthens resilience, restores self-trust, and cultivates emotional autonomy. 1. Set firm boundaries. Boundaries are not walls to isolate yourself. They are shields to protect your emotional health. When manipulation is persistent, it becomes essential to define clearly what behavior is acceptable and what is not. Boundaries can be as simple as limiting the frequency of contact, refusing to engage in arguments designed to induce guilt, or asserting the right to decline emotional labor that belongs solely to them. Establishing boundaries requires clarity, consistency, and courage. At first, resistance may appear from the narcissistic person, often through testing limits, emotional outbursts, or attempts to shame you. Staying firm demonstrates that emotional abuse is not negotiable, and each moment of enforcement strengthens your self-respect. Over time, boundaries act as a protective framework, reducing opportunities for manipulation and creating space for healing. 2. Validate your emotions. Years of emotional invalidation leave deep scars. Constantly being told that feelings are overreactions or unimportant can erode self-trust and make it difficult to distinguish between genuine concerns and imagined faults. Validation is the antidote. Accepting that your emotions are legitimate, natural, and worthy of attention is essential to rebuilding confidence. Techniques to reinforce self-validation include journaling, mindfulness, and reflective exercises. Writing down experiences without filtering for perceived correctness allows you to honor your feelings without fear of judgment. Therapy or supportive counseling can also provide a safe environment to explore emotional responses, identify manipulation patterns, and strengthen inner clarity. Validation is not indulgence. It is survival, the cornerstone of reclaiming personal power. 3. Limit exposure. Emotional distance is a strategic necessity when manipulation is consistent. Reducing contact, whether temporarily or permanently, allows for reflection and detachment. Persistent exposure keeps the mind entangled in confusion, guilt, and hypervigilance. Limiting exposure can take multiple forms. It may mean avoiding private conversations that lead to guilt, stepping away from social settings where manipulation occurs, or curating communication to structured, minimal exchanges. Each action diminishes the narcissist's influence, while simultaneously providing the space needed to rebuild emotional equilibrium. Detachment is not abandonment of responsibility. It is a conscious prioritization of mental health. Emotional distance provides perspective, clarity, and a renewed sense of control, reducing the constant anxiety that accompanies manipulation. 4. Build support networks. Isolation is a common tool in narcissistic abuse. The longer one is cut off from supportive connections, the more susceptible they become to manipulation. Surrounding yourself with people who reinforce your reality and provide genuine empathy is critical. Support networks can include trusted friends, family members, or online communities of survivors who understand the subtlety of narcissistic behavior. These connections validate experiences, provide practical guidance, and remind you that your perception is real. Engaging with others also creates accountability. When experiences are shared and acknowledged, the manipulation loses power. Over time, these networks become a foundation for confidence, courage, and resilience. 5. Prioritize self-care and autonomy. Self-care is not an optional luxury. It is a survival strategy and a reclaiming of agency. Emotional abuse depletes energy, confidence, and self-worth. Deliberately investing in activities that restore strength, independence, and joy is essential. Autonomy extends beyond basic self-care. It involves cultivating interests, skills, and goals that exist independently of the narcissist's influence. Pursuing education, hobbies, professional growth, or personal projects reinforces self-identity and creates fulfillment that cannot be undermined by manipulation. Daily routines that prioritize well-being, exercise, proper rest, mindfulness practices, creative outlets serve as anchors during recovery. Self-care signals to the mind and body that your needs are legitimate and important. Autonomy ensures that your life is guided by personal values rather than the whims of someone who seeks to control you. 6. Rebuilding self-trust and inner authority. After prolonged exposure to manipulation, self-trust is often fractured. Rebuilding it requires deliberate reflection, conscious decision-making, and repeated affirmation that your perception, judgment, and feelings are valid. Small, consistent choices that honor your needs create cumulative empowerment. Each time a boundary is enforced, an emotional response is validated, or distance is maintained. Inner authority is strengthened. Trust in yourself grows when experiences are analyzed objectively, free from guilt imposed by manipulation. 7. Developing emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is the ability to withstand psychological pressure and recover from setbacks without losing equilibrium. It is cultivated by understanding emotional triggers, recognizing patterns of abuse, and practicing adaptive coping strategies. Resilience is not about suppressing emotions. It is about mastering them. Mindfulness, meditation, cognitive reframing, and structured reflection help regulate emotional responses. The more resilient the mind becomes, the less influence narcissistic tactics have, allowing decisions to be guided by clarity rather than fear. 8. Celebrating progress and personal wins. Recovery is incremental. Every boundary enforced, every emotion validated, and every step toward autonomy is a victory. Acknowledging progress reinforces self-worth and provides motivation to continue the journey. Celebration can take simple forms: journaling accomplishments, marking milestones in healing, or sharing progress with trusted allies. Recognizing growth cultivates positivity, which counters the negativity instilled by manipulation. 9. Long-term strategies for lasting freedom. True liberation extends beyond immediate distancing or defensive tactics. Long-term freedom involves maintaining boundaries, nurturing supportive relationships, reinforcing self-trust, and living intentionally according to personal values. It requires constant vigilance and commitment to self-respect. Habits of reflection, emotional validation, and self-care must become integrated into daily life. Through persistence, the grip of manipulation loosens, leaving space for authentic connections and a stable sense of identity. Awareness as empowerment. Understanding the strategies employed by narcissistic women is not just a cautionary measure. It is a path to liberation. By identifying blame shifting, emotional minimization, guilt induction, withdrawal, and distortion, you can reclaim clarity and self-worth. Freedom is found not in controlling others, but in controlling the self. Awareness, boundaries, validation, and support form the pillars of empowerment. Emotional resilience is a cultivated strength, and the journey toward self-determination begins with recognizing that the burden of someone else's manipulation never belonged to you. Even after enduring manipulation, the ability to heal and reclaim life is within reach. Each step taken toward awareness and self-care weakens the grip of narcissism, fostering not only survival, but the flourishing of a confident, autonomous, and emotionally liberated self. And as always, because YouTube's algorithm tends to favor videos with strong engagement, if you feel this video has brought you value, a simple like and a quick subscribe would mean so much. It not only helps this message reach more people who need it, but also ensures you will never miss the next video that could make a difference in your journey. Thanks all.